10,000 years ago, before writing, before cities, before the wheel, a human being sat by a fire, put something in their mouth, and deliberately altered their own mind. And they have been doing it ever since. We like to think of drugs as a modern problem, a modern vice, something that came with cities and stress and boredom, but that is completely wrong. Getting high is not modern. It might be one of the oldest things humans have ever done. Older than farming, older than religion, possibly older than our own species. So how did they do it? What were they taking? And why? Let us go back, way back, to the world's first high. Start with the oldest one of all, alcohol. In a cave in Israel called Rakafet, archaeologists found the remains of beer brewed 13,000 years ago. That is not a typo. People were making booze before they were making bread. And some scientists think that is the point, that humans did not start farming grain to eat it. They started farming grain to ferment it, beer before bread. In China, at a site called Jiahu, they found a 9,000-year-old cocktail. Fermented rice, honey, and hawthorn fruit, scraped from inside old clay pots. The oldest known recipe for alcohol on Earth. And here's the strange thing. You do not even have to invent it. Leave fruit sitting out, wild yeast lands on it, and it turns alcoholic all on its own. Some scientists believe our ape ancestors were eating fermented fruit millions of years ago. The love of a buzz may be written into our very DNA, but alcohol was just the beginning. Take cannabis. 2,500 years ago, high in the mountains of China, in a cemetery called Zhirzankal, mourners placed wooden braziers full of burning cannabis into the tombs. When scientists tested the black residue, they found high levels of the chemical that gets you high. This was not hemp for rope. This was strong, potent plant burned on purpose to send the dead and the living into another world. And we even have an eyewitness. The Greek historian Herodotus wrote about a people called the Scythians, fierce horse riders of the open steppe. He described them crawling into small tents, throwing cannabis onto red-hot stones, and breathing in the smoke until, in his words, they howled with joy. For centuries, historians thought he had made it up. Then archaeologists dug into Scythian burial mounds and found the tents, the stones, the braziers, the cannabis. Herodotus had been telling the truth all along. Now meet the plant that would haunt humanity forever, the poppy, opium. The Sumerians of ancient Mesopotamia grew it more than 5,000 years ago, and they gave it a name that tells you everything. They called it Hul-Gil, the joy plant. From there it spread everywhere. The Egyptians used it. The Greeks used it. It was medicine, it was ritual, it was escape, and it became the ancestor of every opioid that exists today, from morphine to heroin. But if you truly want to understand ancient drugs, you have to understand why they took them. Because for most of history, getting high was not about fun, it was sacred. All over the ancient world, people believed that certain plants did not just change your mind, they opened a door to the spirit world, to the gods, to the dead, and the one who walked through that door was the most important person in the tribe, the shaman. Look at the psychedelics. In a cave in Texas, archaeologists found peyote, a hallucinogenic cactus that had been prepared and used 5,700 years ago. And in the Andes Mountains, people were chewing coca leaves 8,000 years ago to fight off hunger, cold, and exhaustion at high altitude. The very same plant that cocaine is made from, used every single day for thousands of years just to survive the mountains. Deep in the Amazon, they went even further. In a cave in Bolivia, archaeologists found a 1,000-year-old shaman's pouch made of stitched-together fox snouts, and inside was a chemistry set from another world. Traces of cocaine, of DMT, of harmine, and bufotenine. In other words, the exact ingredients of ayahuasca, the legendary visionary brew. Someone 1,000 years ago had figured out how to blend different plants to unlock a trip that lasts for hours. That is not luck. That is deep, inherited knowledge, passed down over countless generations. And then there is the strangest one of all. In frozen Siberia, shamans ate a bright red mushroom, dotted with white spots. The classic storybook toadstool. It is poisonous, it makes you sick, and it makes you see things. But here is the truly wild part. The shaman would eat the mushroom and then the rest of the tribe would drink the shaman's urine. Because the poison got filtered out by the body, but the magic passed straight through. And some historians believe that a flying being, dressed in red and white, soaring through the winter sky, comes from these very rituals. Yes, Santa Claus might just be a mushroom trip. Even the great sophisticated civilizations were in on it. In ancient Greece, thousands of the most respected people alive, philosophers, playwrights, and generals, traveled to a town called Eleusis for a secret ceremony. They fasted, they marched, and then they drank a mysterious potion called kykeon. And what they saw was so overwhelming, so life-changing, that they were sworn to secrecy for the rest of their lives. The leading theory today? Ergot, a fungus that grows on grain and contains a natural cousin of LSD. The foundations of Western philosophy may have been laid by people tripping in a dark temple. So step back and look at the whole picture. Alcohol on every single continent, cannabis in the mountains, opium in the cradle of civilization, peyote in the desert, coca in the Andes, ayahuasca in the jungle, and mushrooms in the snow. This was not a handful of people breaking the rules. This was all of humanity. Everywhere we went, in every climate, in every era, we found the plants that could change our minds, and we built our religions, our medicine, and our rituals around them. Which leaves one uncomfortable question. If getting high is this ancient and this universal, then maybe it is not a glitch in human nature at all. Maybe it is a feature. Children spin in circles just to feel dizzy. Every culture on Earth found something. We are, it seems, a species that does not want to stay sober. So the next time someone tells you that drugs are a modern problem, remember the cave in Israel. Remember the joy plant. Remember the shaman in the snow. Getting high is not new. It might just be one of the oldest human stories.